Now, the meeting of the directors of the Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation on Monday, February 9th, 2015. I would like to welcome our guests from the south so welcome to Buffalo. We're certainly going to meet you in a moment or two.
Thank you.
I'd like to note for the record that this meeting is being webcast. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Consistent with policy of our parent corporation, we welcome public comment on the items on the following agenda. After each item is presented and any comments are received from the directors, we will allow members of the public to provide comment. All comments should be limited to 2 minutes and should only address the item that is under consideration. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I would like to ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the today's items on the agenda. Okay, hearing none. I would then note it for the record, I will now ask Mr. Gawlett to request authorization for the corporation to enter into a lease operating and maintenance agreement for the marine operator for the portion of the outer property. Steve?
Thank you, Chairman. Today the board is being asked to approve a long-term agreement with Safe Harbor Development for operations and maintenance of the marina that we all know is a small boat harbor. As I'm sure the board is aware, last year the outer harbor property was acquired by Erie Canal Harbor. That's about 350 acres right from Gallagher Beach to Robinson Point, excluding the physical building at terminals A and B. Yes.
If we could just ask you for a moment on that. Is the maximum thank you for a moment on that. We're getting a lot of feedback from the area.
Is this any better, Doug?
Yes.
Yes, we got a bad connection because you're breaking up too, so I'll just keep going. Holler if it's really bad.
Okay.
The property, as you're aware, was acquired from the NFTA, and as part of those agreements, the NFTA maintained and operated the boat harbor through the last season. And we have an agreement with state parks to operate where they are doing operations and maintenance of Gallagher Beach and the small boat harbor. Erie Canal Harbor continues to be the legal owner of all the property. Due to the size of the marina and the significant capital needs, state parks concluded that they need an experienced
That's better.
This thing about having the webcast, right?
Sorry, that's.
I don't think it matters anymore, is it?
You guys back up and running? Can you hear us in New York?
Yes, we can.
All right, we'll keep going. All right, so getting back to state parks, as owned operators, we were working with them because they determined that they'd be better off to have a private operator who would be better equipped to operate and maintain the property and take the needed capital improvements. As a result, Erie Canal Harbor, in conjunction with state parks, we issued an RFP for a long-term operator. We received 4 proposals, one of which didn't make the first cut because it wasn't responsive. It was just looking for a one-year operations agreement. Based on a review of proposals, the terms submitted, financial information, and interviews held with each team, The review team, which consisted of ESD, Erie Canal Harbor, and State Park staff, believe that State Harbor was the most qualified to operate, maintain, and invest in the marina. As stated in the building material, State Harbor is based in Knoxville, Tennessee, and operates several municipal harbors that have really become destinations and not just a place for voters. I think in the end of the day, this was something that was very attractive to the review committee, especially considering what we hope will be a better future for Buffalo's Outer Harbor. The agreements with State Harbor include requirements for specific capital investments, including dock replacement and reconstruction of a new full-service restaurant. The term will require the dock be completed by the second boating season and the restaurant be operational within 3 years. In sum, the investment is expected to be in the neighborhood of approximately $10 million. The terms of the lease will be 25 years with 2 10-year options to renew. The length is important here because it allows the needed capital investment to be made, private capital investment. Overall, we got several really good proposals. But in the end, the review team thinks that State Harbor really brings the best opportunity for making the marina a destination, and not just the marina as it's been operated. Finally, ultimately, just so everybody's aware, the contract really will be managed by State Parks. We will sign the agreement as we're required legally as owner of the property, but this is primarily a State Parks project. They will be managing really the day-to-day operations and the contracts for State Harbor in the future. So based on the foregoing, it's requested that the board approve the corporation entering the necessary agreements to complete the transaction as stated in the materials. And Mr. Campbell is here from Tennessee and is going to say a few words about his company and what he has plans out there.
Well, I'm excited about the opportunity. I was excited when I saw the RFP because I've read and been following the great things that Buffalo has going. And when I saw the amount of capital investment that the state was willing to commit to this area, the Canal Street being particular, and then the private investment that's following it, that's what I've always been, what I've always done. I've done it with the city of Pigeon Forge, a major tourist attraction in Tennessee, Clarksville, Knoxville, and so when I saw the opportunity to get aboard this train and take Buffalo where I see it to be going with this waterfront that y'all have and really developing that, I became excited. I put forth a response that I thought appropriate for the amount of investment and enthusiasm that y'all have, and quite frankly, I'm just excited that I was chosen and glad to be a part of this community and grow with the city.
Well, we're excited to be able to partner with you. It's very consistent with what our governor wants us to do, is to be a public-private partnership. So your investment is something that we're very pleased with. You're brave to come up here on February 9th or whatever the date is today, up from Tennessee, but I know you've have experience in multiple venues similar to this throughout the country, so starting at this position and going forward, I think is something very consistent with what you've been able to do over the years.
Yes, sir. One final, my philosophy is a little different than some marina operators, and maybe that's why I'm chosen. But I think the way that the marina, and I'm not saying anything bad about NFTA, but that's not exactly what they do. So they built a facility where you can store your boat, and that's great. And they kept it maintained and clean. But going forward, my goal is, and our company philosophy is to create exciting places and exciting smiling faces. And so really what we want is to create an environment where people want to go, boaters and non-boaters. We want the public to utilize the waterfront because water's magic. And we think there's no better, I've never seen a better piece of water than what you have right here with the protected harbor. And with that much of it undeveloped, it's like to have a plate that's clean and to be able to start and do what you want to do was exciting to me as well, where most of the time when I go into these cities and look, they've got a lot of private landowners, hotspots throughout. You don't have the ability to redevelop it like you do here. So you all are fortunate, and I'm fortunate to be here, but you're fortunate to have this clean plate to work with. So we want to create something, whether it's, I mean, I saw we had ice skating rings. Well, we do a lot of entertainment venues, and I don't know what the future holds, but we want everyone to be able to enjoy this waterfront destination. Everybody likes to see boats, maybe rent boats. We're big into boat rentals. So just because you don't own a boat doesn't mean you can't go down to the waterfront and enjoy it, spend the day with your family in a safe, clean, and nice environment.
Great, thank you. And we've provided each of the directors a letter from Commissioner Harvey from Parks, who writing in strong support with safe harbor development, et cetera. So it's there for your review and comment, and we'll see that the press gets a copy of the letter as well. Are there any questions from directors?
I have one.
David?
Yeah, Stephen, this is directed to you. First of all, Mr. Kimball, welcome to Buffalo, and we're looking for great things, and we see the same opportunity you see. Unfortunately, we also have a burden with that responsibility. So my comments are not meant as disparaging to anything you're proposing. I just need to know an answer to a question I have. With the respect to the $10 million that's going to be spent over 5 years, is that task related as opposed to dollar related?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the milestones will be cash, not dollars.
Yeah, we might have some dollar milestones, but you're right. It's going to be the operation of the restaurant, the docks, and some other things. Because, until Mr. Darby has estimated in his proposal that the restaurant will be $4 to $5 million. I think the docks are a $5 million investment. That's probably more of a hard number. I think you probably have a better idea. So yeah, it'll be based on tasks more than the specific dollars.
Okay, thank you.
Mark?
Mr. Chairman, my comments go more to the same thing as Director Colligan. Considering we're talking about a 25-year contract with 2 10-year renewal periods, as much as I hate to admit it, I don't think any of us will be around at the end of that 45-year period, so I wanted to ensure that there were appropriate benchmarks in the contract that require at particular times that the investment be put in place. Considering it's such a long contract, I certainly do not want to see the state, through the Canal Harbor Corporation as well as Parks, enter into a contract with a party and sort of wondering why things aren't moving along as we want. So a lot of the questions I had previously can be addressed. I would ask, though, we don't often get copies of the contracts. Quickly, I don't think I've ever gotten a copy of the contract that was sort of approved by the board, but never brought back and given actually to the board. So I would ask if this is approved, that once the final contract is signed and agreed to, a copy of it provided to the board members so we confirm that the benchmarks and the statements that you were looking for were actually in the contract. So if there are any questions, we know from the expectation is when the docks are going to be, when new restaurants will be built. And of course, if the benchmarks aren't met, then I would hope that there's something in the contract that gives Canal Corporation the opportunity then to terminate the contract upon 90 days notice.
We will provide that information to you once it's executed and agreed to. Sam?
Mr. Chairman, not a question but a comment. I've had the opportunity to spend some time with Darby and his buddy, his partner, in recent days and have done a lot of research on the work that they've done in Tennessee. And one of the things that excites me about this opportunity is we've seen such great progress at the inner harbor, at the canal side. And the governor has now tasked us with activating and improving the outer harbor. And we've got a lot going on in terms of the consultants' reports and recommendations for the outer harbor. But I think these gentlemen and this company brings real opportunity for turning a small boat harbor, what was once a small boat harbor, into a great destination, as they've said, to activate that site for non-slip holders and slip holders alike to enjoy and to access and to kind of celebrate in terms of Buffalo's great waterfront legacy. So while you said that the NFTA, as the previous landlord and operator, was charged with simply operating a marina, what you're bringing to the table and your plans in terms of taking that several notches up is, I think, very exciting and consistent with what the governor's looking for in terms of creating a world-class waterfront in the city of Buffalo. So welcome. We're excited about the opportunity to work with you and looking forward to great things from you.
Any other questions from any directors? Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Congratulations. Tom, President's report.
Despite the heavy snow and bitter cold, winter is having a hard time forcing people to stay at home, thanks to the ice at Canal Side. The new rink is turning Canal Side into a true year-round destination. Canal Side is having the most eventful and memorable winter in the history of our waterfront. There's references in the Boston Globe, the Washington Times. It's not just our local media, but other cities are paying attention to what's happening at Canal Side. In addition, it's very interesting to me that local companies are advertising, using Canal Side in their advertising campaigns. I find that to be very interesting and says something really positive. Highlights of the winter activities: by the end of yesterday, total number of admissions, 42,675 at the ice. That's an amazing number to me. And it's ice skating, it's curling, and Broomball League started on February 2nd. Pond hockey started on February 4th. So we're excited about that. Future, February 14th, Valentine's Day at the ice. March 14th, Cure Me, I'm Irish scavenger hunt. Stay tuned for details on that. And we're currently also in the process of finalizing programming for the next year, 2015. Separate event and programming applications are available on our website. So that's important as we move forward to the next season. Social media, Facebook page has 56,613 likes. Twitter account, 20,000 followers. Some interesting quotes from Facebook. Had friends in from out of town. Told me they loved the changes. They said so much to do. It was beautiful. They loved it. It rocked. They want to come back in the summer and maybe even move back. I think those are great statements that are coming in from our website. And then lastly, let me just talk about the revenue. So the ice rink revenue is currently exceeding budget, which I think is very important for us to recognize. We have a 4-month season in the amendment, December, January, February, and March, where we have to carefully track the revenue, the sponsorship, and the expense side of the budget. From a revenue standpoint, we are far exceeding ticket sales. We had anticipated about $129,000 worth of revenue, and we've achieved $272,000 to date. So we're far ahead from the skating side. The sponsorship is running true to expectation, and the operating budget is running slightly below. So at the end of the day, that's our expectation. The way things are trending, very positive outcome. So what we're looking for is hopefully a positive outcome and maybe saving as much as $200,000. So that's a very, very positive message in terms of the way the ice has been managed, and we're really happy with that. Design and planning updates to the bike ferry, direct link to the Outer Harbor. We're looking for that to open in the spring. Extension of the Central Wharf, planning is, this effort is ongoing, and construction should start in the fall. Grain elevator lighting construction is in progress. And the historically aligned canal, so this is just something to note that should make you want to go get your skates on sooner, that at some point, like maybe around March 18th, the ice skating stops. And that's where we have to go into a transition, get ready for water for the summertime. So we're really excited about that. That'll be another season, another new thing once we put water back into the canals. I'd also like to mention a non-smoking zone. The ice has been established. We have signs there that we do not want smoking in the zone, and so everybody knows that portion of our site is no smoking. We'd like to take that concept through all of Canal Side and ensure that not only fresh air at Canal Side, but make it a model similar to what they do in a lot of the state parks. And we just want to have it family friendly, and it's a recreational facility. And so what we'd like to do is just move forward and this at some point come back to the board and make this more of an action item. Today I want to just talk about it in terms of what we'd like to do. And we're very successful with the no smoking signs at the ice. and we'd like to continue that for the entire canal side area. So with that said, we have 5.5 more weeks to go before the ice closes. I'd say join us and the masses of smiling faces that are having fun. Stay tuned to canalsidebuffalo.com and our Facebook page and our Twitter account as we post more things to do down at Canalside.
Mark, I have a question, Mr. President, with regards to the budgeted versus actual operating revenue for the skating. Does that flow directly to the Canal Corp, or does that go to Global Spectrum, and then they report the revenue back to us, and does that in turn adjust the contract that had to be readjusted just not too recently?
It does come back to the contract, so if the contract was written for about $860,000, our expectation is they'll only spend $660,000. That's what we're trending at right now.
Just so you be clear, the money goes to Global Spectrum to the operating account, but the Erie Canal Harbor funds the deficit. So the money, I don't think technically would flow to Erie Canal Harbor. They would just fund less of the deficit. So
of the adjusted contract that we approved, I think approximately a little more than a month ago, if by chance all this additional revenue flows through, there'd be less revenue that would have to be provided by the Canal Corp to Global Spectrum.
Yeah, in the range of about $200,000. If everything stays the same. But remembering that it's a factor of revenues versus expenses. The good news is the revenues are tracking favorably, and expenses are tracking negatively, meaning that we're favorable to budget on that. So, and you know, we're getting they're monitoring it. Caitlin and her folks are on it constantly. So, I think the lessons learned is the fact that we are, and we will keep you posted on it. In addition, part of the agreement will be an independent audit from Fried Maxick at the end of March. Did that answer your question, Mark?
Yes, it does.
Good. Anyone else? Anything else? If not, thank you for attending, and we're adjourned. Thank you.